How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Gage, and today I am excited to show off my new Rapid Strike Urshifu and Blaziken Vmax deck profile. This is a really powerful and fun deck, including one of the newest cards, Blaziken Vmax, which adds great support to an already powerful strategy. So it's a lot of fun to play, and I've been waiting for these cards for a while. So now that they're all here, I'm just going to go ahead and hop into the deck profile. And remember, if you like content like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So before we show off the Vmax, I'll show off the V just so we have a little bit of context. I'm playing 3 copies of Rapid Strike Urshifu V. It is a Rapid Strike Pokemon that is a fighting type with 220 HP. Now, it is really mainly useful for its first attack, where for 1 energy you could use Strafe to switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So it only does 30 damage, and it's a little unassuming, but that effect to be able to switch into the bench is very relevant because of the Vmax's attack. And I'm playing 3 copies of Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax, and it is a fighting type, Rapid Strike, 330 HP with the fighting type attack, 1 fighting energy. It can use Gale Thrust, and if it's moved from your bench to the active spot this turn, it does 120 more damage for a total of 150. So as you can start to piece together, this deck is going to be jumping, having the Pokemon jump between the bench and the active spot to be able to give it some buffs. In addition, there are cards like Tower of Waters, which allow you to give Urshifu free retreat, allowing you to switch between the bench even easier. And for 2 fighting energy and 1 colorless, you could use Gmax Rapid Flow, which allows you to discard all energy from this Pokemon, and it does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So that is pretty insane because that includes the bench. So if your opponent has maybe some weak basic Pokemon that they're using to evolve, maybe into a Stage 1 or Stage 2 line, you can actually use this to one-hit knock out some of those Pokemon to prevent your opponent from evolving and, essentially getting into their more powerful Pokemon later. So this also does chip damage. So if your opponent is, setting up some Vs in the bench, you could do 120, and that extra damage does add up. If they aren't playing something to be able to heal, they are essentially on a clock of when their bench Pokemon will start to get knocked out. And because you're constantly putting him in the bench and bringing out new ones, even if he does get attacked, you are just going to be able to switch right into another one, and it is just so powerful. So 3 Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax. And now for the Blaziken line, I'm playing 3 copies of Blaziken V, Fire type, Rapid Strike, 210 HP. Nothing too spectacular about the V. Honestly, it's all about the Vmax for this one, and I'm playing the 2 copies of Blaziken Vmax. For 1 energy, you're not really using it because it is a Fire type energy. We're not playing Fire type energy, but I suppose you could tech it in. We're really using it for its max Blaze attack, which for 2 colorless does 130 damage, and you can choose up to 2 of your benched Rapid Strike Pokemon and attach an energy card from the discard pile to each of them. So as you can see, this is very, very great support for the Rapid Strike Urshifu, because if you already discarded energy earlier on in the game, you can actually add it back onto your Urshifu Vmax in the bench. And then, of course, you're setting them up so that they can eventually switch back into the active and use the Gmax Rapid Flow again. So even though the requirement for Gmax Rapid Flow is to discard all energy, that's not really that big of a deal because you will always be able to recur that energy back with Max Blaze. It is a deadly combination, and in tandem is very, very difficult for your opponent to deal with. So 2 copies of the new Blaziken Vmax. It's been a lot of fun. And now I'm also playing the Remarade and Octillery line, so just 3 of the Remarade. The only notable thing is that it is a Rapid Strike Pokemon, but you're really only playing it so that you can play 2 copies of Octillery. This is great Rapid Strike support with the ability Rapid Strike Search. Once per turn, you can search your deck for a Rapid Strike card and put it in your hand. all of your Pokemon, albeit one, are Rapid Strike Pokemon, so all of your Pokemon are searchable off of Octillery, including a lot of your other item cards that you're playing, your supporters. They are also searchable off of Octillery. So anytime you see a Rapid Strike throughout the course of the video, keep in mind that it's going to be searchable off of him. So this is great support. And I am playing one Dede GX until rotation. I'm going to stick with the Dede just because I love having it in a pinch. But of course, once post-rotation hits, you're going to want to swap to a Crobat V. It is also very good and very useful. And now, that's it for the Pokemon. For the supporter line, I am playing 4 copies of Professor's Research. It's a staple at this point. You're going to want to play it in every deck. Just being able to discard your hand and draw 7. Best case scenario, there are moments where you have no cards in your hand, so you could just discard the research and draw a fresh 7 cards. Worst case scenario, you have some useful cards in there, but that's why we're playing multiples of all these cards, so that in the event if you do have to use a research, it's not the end of the world if you have to discard one of your VMAXs or anything like that, because you are playing multiples. So Professor's Research, really great draw support and necessary for most decks. I'm also playing 4 copies of Marnie. This is also great draw support as well, because each player shuffles their hand, puts it on the bottom of the deck, and then they draw cards. So you will draw 5, and your opponent will draw 4. So this is great for shuffling back cards into the deck that you may not need, like your VMAXs. Or if you already have some VMAXs set up, you can send back the Vs and hopefully draw into the other cards that you need. And of course, it's great for disruption. So if you notice that your opponent is adding a lot of cards to their hand, they're searching for a lot of things, they are using Professor's Research and adding a ton to their hand, you can actually just Marnie them and disrupt them, and that disruption can oftentimes be really powerful. It means that if they search, they always have to be worried about whether or not they can use that card the following turn, because Marnie exists in the format. So Marnie, she's great, she's bae. I'm, of course, playing 4 copies. And I am playing 4 copies of Boss's Orders. We do not want any Pokemon to be retreating and hiding in the bench, even though we can do that 120 damage. If you aren't playing something like a Telescopic Sight, you're really not going to be knocking too many things out, so you're going to want to be doing a lot of damage to Pokemon in the active. So that is why the Boss's Orders is here, to make sure that if your opponent is just hiding Pokemon in their bench, no matter what, you'll be able to bring it out and knock into it with Boss's Orders, because you're not always going to be able to use the Gmax Rapid Flow, because it is discarding a lot of your energies. So sometimes using the 1 energy and then using a Boss's Orders and doing 150 with its first attack is oftentimes a pretty good option as well. And now I'm also playing 2 copies of Karinas Focus. This is a Rapid Strike card, so it's searchable off Octillery, and it allows you to draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. So if you notice that you don't have any cards in your hand, and you do have access to Octillery, you can use it to search Karinas Focus to get 6 fresh cards in your hand. So I love that this is searchable. Sometimes you do have a lot of cards. The only time it's not useful is if your hand is clogged with supporters, in which case Karinas Focus isn't as useful, but it's still a really good tech. I'm also playing 2 copies of Avery. So guys, if you don't know, Eternatus is one of the best decks in the format right now, and this is my counter to it. Drawing 3 cards, not really the greatest, but if you drew any cards this way, your opponent discards Pokemon from their bench until they have 3. So Eternatus is trying to load their bench with multiple different Dark-type Pokemon, and you could just say no with Avery, and that really helps to slow them down in their... and really, they just want to keep loading up the bench. So this is a big tech against Eternatus. My friend loves playing it, so I need to have something in there, and I think Avery is a good option. Now for some item cards, I am playing Pokemon Communication. Swap a Pokemon in your hand with one in the deck. As you can see, we're playing a lot of evolution Pokemon, so sometimes you need to get into the V, and Pokemon Communication helps you to swap into the one you need. We're playing 4 copies of Quick Ball. We're playing a ton of basic Pokemon, and this searches any of them. So if you need any of your Vs, you can grab that, or you could use this to grab your Dede. We're playing 3 Evolution Incense to help you search for your Vmaxes, your Evolution Pokemon. Pretty self-explanatory. And like I mentioned, we have access to Tower of Waters, a Rapid Strike card, so it's searchable off Octillery as well, and it essentially gives all of your Pokemon, except for Dede, a free retreat. So that is really good. Now, just in case if our opponent is playing Chaotic Swell, we are still playing some air balloons. We don't want to get caught with our pants down. And sometimes if we go against Chaotic Swell, it can be hard to stick the Tower of Waters. So air balloon is still really good because it gives your Pokemon free retreat. And last but not least, I am playing 6 Rapid Strike Energy and 5 Fighting type Energy. The Rapid Strike Energy is obviously a Rapid Strike card, so you could search it off Octillery. So you almost always have access to your energy. Honestly, you could drop the energy count and it'll probably still work. And the notable thing about the Rapid Strike Energy is that as long as it's attached to a Pokemon, it provides 2 in any combination of Water Energy and Fighting Energy. So that is really good because it's giving you 2 Fighting Energy that you can use to set up your Urshifu Vmax and your Blaziken Vmax even easier. And yeah, I mean, this deck is just a powerhouse. So guys, that's going to be it for the video. Thanks for sticking around so long. This is a really, really cool deck, and Rapid Strike, the Rapid Strike archetype, so to speak, has so many different ways to play it. So let me know if you've tried or seen other variants. I'm interested in learning what other cards can work well for this deck. And I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, GG.